Hello, and a huge welcome back to the PDHP and CAFS podcast. I hope that you had a beautiful week last week. We are going live today sharing with you some advice from the former Supervisor of Marking in Community and Family Studies. Now, you're probably thinking, who is this guest? Oh, it's me. I was a former New South Wales Supervisor of Marking in Community and Family Studies. And look, this was not that long ago. I started teaching CAFS back in 2004. I then signed up for HSC marking in my third year of teaching, my second HSC cohort through. And honestly, I don't know if the future Kel, I don't know why I did that, but I put my hand up very early because I loved CAFS. Look, that's probably the reason why. I was so keen. I was one of those keen bean brand new teachers, which you probably all think roll your eyes oh God, Kel, you're a bit of a nerd. But back then I was super keen, still am now. But I put my hand up, I applied, I got HSC marking, and look, it was fairly early into the piece of HSC marking. Our course had only been, so it was 3, 4, 5, had only been through the HSC 3 times already. So this was the 4th year of HSC marking. So they're probably desperate, but if you have any opportunity at all to put your name down for HSC marking, please do so in CAFS or HMS. Absolute game changer for me. And I don't think I would be where I am now if it wasn't for HSC marking back in 2006. So I marked, then in 2009, I was appointed as a judge marker, which means that you judge the paper. Towards the end of the marking experience, judging again was hands down crucial and pivotal to my knowledge and understanding of CAFS, the marking process, what to look for in student responses, and really shaped what I do now and what I taught my students a very long time ago in the lead up to that. So 2009, I was a judge marker, and then 2010, I was appointed as a senior marker. Now, if you're new to HSC marking, a senior mark is like a head teacher of a question, and you have, a series of markers that are underneath your leadership at HSC marking. So there's probably about 10 or 12 HSC senior markers, and then all the markers kind of sit underneath that as a structure. But then in 2018, I applied to be the supervisor of marking. So that meant I was kind of the head honcho, the boss, the lady boss of all HSC marking in New South Wales. So when you get appointed as a supervisor of marking, it's a 5-year contract, so it's a 5-year experience. And once your time is up, you then get, rolled out and someone else becomes the supervisor of marking. So I've been doing HSC marking since 2006. I was the judge mark in 2009. 2010, I was appointed as a senior marker, and then I did that for 8 years until I was appointed as the head HSC marker in New South Wales. Now, it's so funny, and I shared this last week, when teachers and students question, say, how do you know this? Where is this coming from? What's your experience? I'm trust me, I know what I'm talking about. I have marked thousands and thousands of student responses all across New South Wales at HSC marking, and obviously with my own students for 16 years. I now do marking for schools, trial marking, feedback, etc. So look, I've been doing it for a very long time. I know what I'm looking for, and I reckon I've probably marked about 40,000 student responses in CAFS. And these are some things that I would love to share with you finally, open doors, keys to the castle across New South Wales. Because even now, this is 5 years into my business, the Learning Network, supporting CAFS teachers across New South Wales, alongside PDHP, HMS. These are still some things that I see in our student responses. And it's not a lack of experience or a lack of content knowledge. It's just a lack of knowing what to look for in student responses. And that's all it comes down to. I have had extensive experience across New South Wales, presenting, marking, judging, supervisor, mentoring, working with NESA, like, it's been a lot. I was part of, I forgot about this actually until right now, that I was part of creating the marking the work samples that are on the NSW website for year 11. They are a bit old, if I'm going to be super honest. I would love to revamp that. They won't do it because the syllabus is so old now. But look, I kind of know what I'm talking about, and that's not sounding cocky. It's just knowing the course inside and out. So these are some things I'd love to share with you, heart to heart, teacher to teacher, because I know that you're still slogging away in your CAFS class and you're like, Kel, our kids are still getting band fours. Our kids still haven't, mastered what it really takes. And as I shared last week in the PDHP and CAFS podcast, it's not just one thing. It never is. Like, trust me, it never is just one thing that you should be doing. So the recipe to success for CAFS isn't just, working on your writing. It's knowing the glossary. It's breaking it down. It's having extensive knowledge and understanding of the course. So I've probably picked about 5 things out. So if you listen back to this and I don't do 5 or 6, I don't know. Look, the first thing I would still love to remind you about, it's not just about the content. The content will only get you part way there. And with our content, it's not just about writing notes on the board or doing 1,000 Google slides and then expecting the kids to learn the content. They learn it. Well, I'm pretty sure I learn like this. I learn through practical application. And what I mean by that is you guys actually getting up there and not just talking at the kids like I'm doing now, but actually showing you what it looks like with that content, bringing the course to life through practical teaching and learning activities. Teaching and learning activities aren't writing the notes. Teaching and learning activities aren't using the old school syllabus, old school textbook that my name's on, co-author of that textbook. It is doing physical activities in class to bring the course to life. Now, what that looks like on the ground, it could be like a series of matching cards. It could be having a number of different scenarios that you've set up, and your kids have to kind of use their knowledge and understanding of the course to then unpack, something within that course or within that concept. It could be a debate. It could be a sharing experience. It could be having a guest speaker come in. It could be creating a series of questions that the kids are then prompting and answering and, stimulus, whatever it is. It's bringing the course to life outside of that, that pen and paper, outside of that 4 walls of your classroom. Learning isn't just about your context in that box or on that screen if you're in the online environment, in distance education or homeschooling. It's bringing the course to life through practical teaching and learning activities, so the kids actually get to experience what it's like to feel, to see, and to be part of that content. Now, I could rattle off a whole heap of different ideas to share with you. And look, in the early days, like, my syllabus and my textbook is all I had. I literally got the kids to copy down notes from the textbook or copy down notes from the whiteboard. We had a blackboard maybe somewhere in the school, but writing notes and just talking at the kids, discussing. If you're just discussing content, unfortunately, we need to move past that. The kids aren't going to learn through just chatting to them for 50 minutes, 60 minutes. You have to bring the course to life. Now, there are a number of ways that I have shared with teachers over the years. I've been presenting professional learning since 2010, since our eldest was born. So my CAFS presenting was birthed then, and CAFS was born then. She's 15 in less than 15 days, which is very scary. But I always love to share with teachers just some experiences to kind of feel and approach the course in a different way. So professional learning is something I know inside and out. I was the only person presenting CAFS professional learning from 2010 up until me starting my business. So for about 10 years, it was me. It was the Kelly Bell Show. It still is the Kelly Bell Show, but bringing it to life through practical teaching and learning activities. My favourite way now to showcase those is at the CAFS conference in just over a month at Kilcare at home, literally down the road, set on the beach at Kilcare Surf Lifesaving Club. We literally like overlook the water. Not last year, but the year before, we actually had dolphins playing in the ocean as I started just after our smoking ceremony. And if I'm going to be honest, it was like really emotional. I don't know what happened in the smoking ceremony, but I think just the combination of the dolphins, the smoking ceremony, the welcome to country, just being in the room with other CAFS teachers, because CAFS is very different to other courses that are out there. It's not PDHPE, it's not health and movement science, it is very different because the concepts we teach aren't things that you can Google or use ChatGPT with. You have to bring it to life. The kids are going to experience it. So 17th and 18th of October at Kilcare, we cannot wait to have you back. We have quite a few teachers joining us again. We have about 50% of our tickets already sold. So if you would love to join us, the learnet.com/conference is where you can go. Join us and obviously have access to not just my ideas, but a whole room of CAFS teachers. Okay, so the first piece of advice is obviously bringing your course to life. The kids need to have extensive knowledge and understanding of the syllabus, not just rote learning. So I was going to share my screen, but I don't want to trial this now because it could just fail on me live. But I want you to head to the performance band descriptors and have a look at what it says there. So a student who performs at this level in the exam typically demonstrates extensive knowledge and understanding about the influence of a range of societal factors, range of issues really, on individuals and the nature of groups, families, and communities. The really key there is extensive knowledge and understanding, not just learning your acronyms. I see that a lot on social media, and I hear that a lot from other teachers, like, should my kids learn the acronyms? Yeah, of course, but it's a memory jogger. It's not what they're actually going to be assessed on in the exam. It's just something for them to spark their ideas to then show what they know in the exam. Okay, so that's the first one, is the extensive knowledge and understanding of the course. What I think then goes hand in hand with that is how you're teaching the content and the sequence at which you actually teach it. So I would love for you to rewrite your scope and sequence. I see lots of doozies out there. I even had a teacher contact me asking what she should start first in year 11 because she had been at another professional learning and they had given her the advice to do resource management last. Resource management in year 11 is like the foundation of CAFS. You have to do it first in year 11. My suggestion next is to do families and communities and finish on individuals and groups. It's something I've shared since I left the classroom. It will make a massive impact on your students. That's year 11. Then in year 12, I would start with research. If you're in a public or a Catholic school, private schools have a very short term in term 4, lucky you guys. But I would probably do groups in context first, or the option. Then I would go, like if I'm doing option first, I would then go research in term 1. If I'm doing research in term 4, I would then do option in term 1. The biggest key here, and Alex, I'm answering your question live now about this, is actually linking your content across the course and bringing your option into the IRP in a teacher-facilitated way. That's been my go-to. We've had over 350 CAFS teachers do our IRP course, strategic approaches to the IRP. Many people know about this now. CAFS Collective members, you guys have free access to that whole course and all the resources inside that. But making those strategic connections from our option into our IRP is like perfect for you because you want to start teaching the option early. You want to create great connections across the course with the option to enhance your research in the IRP. And the other part of it is you want to be able to assess your option really, really early. There are still schools out there who say to me, oh, we didn't get to assess the option. We left it too late. We're doing the option last before the trials. And I've shared with teachers, our dog's going nuts. I've shared with teachers that we need to actually start this process a lot earlier because there's so much to cover in terms of content, but also in terms of the actual structure for the IRP, for the option, and what we should be really referring to. The option's a game changer. A lot of schools really struggle with the option, but by starting it early, you can assess it early, and then you can give the kids lots of direct feedback about what they can do to improve on the option. So making those connections across the course is crucial. So in year 11, embedding concepts from year 12. So talking about homeless people, talking about parents, talking about carers, talking about support that you might then touch on in year 12 in relation to types of services, community organisations, government agencies, in both groups in context and parenting and caring. And look, again, you could do that in work. You could do that in family and societal interactions. Okay, so that was number 2, is linking the course across the content. Number 3 is probably really around teaching the glossary of keywords explicitly. As a marker, you're going to look for whether the student has actually addressed the glossary of keyword. If they have not addressed it at all, there is no way they can get in probably the top 2 mark ranges. So it just cuts them off. If they haven't done what the word has asked them to do, they are going to miss out on crucial marks because they haven't done what the question has said for them to actually do on the paper. So if it's an explain question, and assess, discuss, compare, evaluate, to what extent, whatever it is, a lot of our kids are still not doing these words. So a couple of solutions to that. A free resource for you guys, the learnnet.com/glossary. I've shared this quite a few times over the last couple of weeks. So my website /glossary is where you can head for that. Template, scaffolds, ideas, step by step, how to actually teach those words explicitly. And I would recommend doing that from year 7, if not before. We are including these words in our K to 6 membership, in our 7 to 10 membership, CAFS membership, HMS membership, because schools and teachers are still not teaching this. And like, there's that effect at exam time. The kids are not doing what the word tells them to do, and they're missing out on crucial marks. So if it's like an explain, they need to show clear cause and or effect. If they've only described something and it's a 6 marker, they might only get 3. There's a bit of content, it might be an example. They haven't done what the word has actually asked them to do. If they've been given like a question that looks at assess or evaluate or analyze, it's usually a higher order. It might be a 7 or an 8 marker. And I reckon kids who are just giving content, just giving examples, maybe a 5, because they haven't actually done what the word has asked them to do. Again, I've shared this, and I might even do this next week. I could talk about this for hours and hours and hours and hours. Our kids are still not doing this, and I think it's because as a teacher, you still can't recognize it. Sorry, no offense, but you still can't recognize it in the students' responses. And look, we are providing a bonus session this week in the CAFS Collective, 7 to 10, K to 6, HMS memberships. So if you are one of our members, there'll be a bonus session for you on that to kind of help you find it, help you look for it, and obviously teach it to your kids. But if you're not a member, of course, there's lots of free ways, other podcast episodes, as well as this resource, the learnnet.com/glossary, to download it, use it, use some of these templates with the kids. Okay, so we're up to number 4, and the 4th one is probably around just the idea of writing really clear and concisely. So if you go to a band 6 performance descriptors, you're really looking for that last point, effectively communicating ideas, issues, and opinions in an organised, logical, and coherent manner using appropriate terminology. Our kids are still just writing in dot points, and that's okay if our kids really struggle, or if we have some diverse learners who can't even write a sentence. But if we want our kids to access those higher marks, top 2 mark ranges, hopefully moving to a band 5 or 6, they have to write in a clear and logical and coherent manner. So clear peel paragraphs is my suggestion. I always talk about PE being peel, just a really nice analogy. You could have teal, you could have sexy, you could have whatever you want, as long as it's some clear and logical way to respond. I don't think dot points will get you full marks. I don't think dot points will be able to show the depth of knowledge that you need for that 8 marker, for that 15 marker in the option, for that 6 marker in the option. So really starting this from primary school, how do we write a sentence? How do we write a paragraph? Going from writing to a sentence to writing a paragraph to writing a number of paragraphs is really, really important. It just means at marking, you can quickly see what the student has responded. You can quickly see where's the content. Okay, where's the glossary of keyword? Where's the example? You can then make a judgment on the mark and award that mark accordingly. So when the markers are reading a student's response, they want it to be really clear and easy to read so they then can award that mark appropriately. Of course, we know, and I've marked some doozies over the years, kids, their writing is terrible. It's horrendous sometimes. You can't read it. I remember one year, I don't know when this was, maybe like 2010 or so. I can't remember. That I got given a magnifying glass, and I had to like decode a student's response. That's how bad it was. The marker couldn't mark it. The senior marker couldn't mark it. I had to go through and rewrite their response because it was just a big shambles. So I had to rewrite it, and then the marker then remarked that response because it was just very hard to understand. So please don't forget to get the kids to use a black pen in their responses. Again, this is something that I would expect people just to know. Some people don't. Black pen in the HSC, because all the kids' responses get scanned into the system, and you want to make sure that their student responses are being seen. No highlighter over anything. Do not use highlighter in the HSC. The kids might like to put it in their plan. Don't put it on the paper because sometimes if it's a darker colour, like maybe a blue or a green or even some of the dark pink highlighters, you can't see what the kids have written, and it's often quite blurry. So please, no highlighters. You don't need to get the kids to underline anything. Just answer the bloody question. That's my advice. Answer the question. Include your glossary of keyword. Give us some extensive knowledge and understanding of the content. Don't regurgitate the question. Don't use an acronym in your answer. Get to the point very quickly. Use really specific, now that you know SWAV, specific, unique, applied, varied, and explicit. Did I say explicit? Explicit examples. And that's probably my last one. Number 5 is around using very good examples in a student response. Don't be repetitive. Don't kind of use the same type of example. Make it stand out from the crowd. HSC markers sit there from 4 till 9. They get an hour break. It's very long. It's very tedious. They're marking after school hours. They're marking after they've, been at school for a whole day. They might have a quick break and then go back home, then go and, lock themselves away for marking. It is a very it's a very lengthy process, but it also is very draining. So HSC markers want to come, they want to see that really good example, stands out from the crowd, your answer's very clear and concise as a student, and you can kind of see that in the responses. So please make sure your examples, your student examples are very good. They're going to really show off what the kids know. And look, the examples are we always refer back to those. I'm just finding that in the performance band descriptors. So this one's about research, but proposes, develops and sustain arguments based on relevant research and examples to justify points of view. The examples are there to back up what the students have written. They're to showcase, this is what I know, because here's my example to prove I know my stuff. So it's really important that you are making sure the kids, their examples are like awesome. They're not just generic. They're not just like, yeah, that was in that textbook or that was in that resource. They're like gold standard and make them stand out from the crowd. Again, I could be here all day talking about HSC marking, but we are doing a lot of sessions at the CAFS conference. Again, I see the gaps. I get to hear from you. I get to hear from our members. I know what the goal is. I get to see in student responses. The 10/11 sessions that we've developed are based on some of the gaps, but also the skills that I think we could still improve on across New South Wales and CAFS. So five pieces of advice. I could be here all day, but the first one was around extensive knowledge and understanding of the syllabus. Don't just rely on the acronyms. The acronyms aren't going to get you any marks. So please don't get the kids to put acronyms in their response. Just put it above their question, above their response, and then get to the point in the response. Our second one was around looking for links across the course, bringing some content early, embedding examples, double dipping. And what I mean by that is teaching stuff early in year 11 with types of services, support, government agencies, community organisations, linking those back to groups, linking those back to parenting and caring. The next one was around teaching the glossary of keywords explicitly, demonstrating, modelling it, all that sort of stuff. That free resource is the learnnet.com/glossary to grab that. What are we up to? Number 4 is looking at clear and concise paragraphs. And then number 5 was using really specific, really suave examples in a student response. So look, please ask me anything about CAFS. Please send me a DM, a direct message, or a message on Facebook with the words CAFS question to ask me questions. I'm an open book. I am not gatekeeping. Like, please ask away. I will share like anything about CAFS to help you improve what your students are doing. So again, if you want to see this brought to life through practical teaching and learning activities, we would love to have you at the CAFS conference, October 17 and 18. The learnnet.com/conference is where you can head to secure your spot. We have about 20 tickets left. Magic, Kilcare, it's the beach, it's Central Coast, beautiful, like beautiful food. You'll get spoilt. You'll feel like a bit of a royalty on the Central Coast, but we can't wait to have you in person. As I said, any questions about CAFS, let me know. But members, I'll see you guys on Thursday night for our bonus session. And if you're at the end of a term thinking, look, Kel, I love stuff about CAFS, HMS, PDHPE, we have all of our memberships available for you guys to support you next year and the next 12 months and beyond. But if you have any questions at all about CAFS, please reach out. And if you've loved today's episode, please don't hesitate to share it with a friend, take a screenshot, share it with them, share it on socials. And look, the more people that we can support, the better. Have the most amazing week, and I'll see you guys soon. Take care.